Hello friends and welcome back to another lesson. Today I'm going to show you European Portuguese words you should not say or use in Brazil. So let's start with the first one, cacete. That means in Portugal bread, right? But the meaning in Brazil is a man's private parts. So you don't want to say that. In Brazil, in order to say bread, you say pão or pãozinho if you want to buy French bread. Now, here is an important note. Only in the state of Rio Grande do Sul, that's the only place you're going to use the word for French bread, cacetinho, which would be little cacete. But if you go to the state of Rio Grande do Sul, which is the state where I'm from originally, and you ask for a cacetinho, not cacete, because if you say that, you're going to be meaning a man's private. So if you say cacetinho, only in that state, you can say that. Because if you use this word in any other state, then people are gonna think you're talking about a little man's private. Of course, they know you don't mean it because they know you probably learn it in the South, but they might make fun of you. So, everywhere in Brazil, if you want French bread, small bread, whatever, just say pãozinho, all right? Or if you want bread, just ask for pão, pão. Now, another thing that's very important for people that speak English as a first language, do not say pau. Pau. It's not pau, it's pão. Practice this, because if you say pau, you're also saying, referring to a man's private. All right? So both of those words, cacete and pau, are slangs for that, for what I already said. So anyway, remember, in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, we say pão or pãozinho. All right, now, next one, bicha. Bicha in European Portuguese, in Portugal, means line. Like you wait in line, now you wait in a bicha. In Brazil, that means fag. So don't say that. I'm not, discussing here if fag is a good or bad word that you shouldn't use, whatever. What I'm saying is, bicha, that's the meaning, fag, in Brazil. Now, if you want to say line in Brazil, line only the one you wait in line, not a line that you draw, because a line that you draw in Brazilian Portuguese, you say linha. Now, which has some similarity to line, right? But if you want to say the line you wait into, that's called in Brazilian Portuguese fila. Fila. Esperar na fila, wait in line. Now, next one, puto. In European Portuguese or Portuguese from Portugal, that means boy or teenage boy. Now, in Brazil, that also means fag. So if you call a man puto or a boy puto, you are offending this person. If you want to say boy in Brazil, there are basically two ways. You can say garoto, garoto, or you can say menino, menino. In the South, you can say in the South, meaning Rio Grande do Sul, that state of the South, not all the states from the South. You can say guri. Guri, all right? So, most common that you're going to use in Brazil, garoto, menino. So, next one, European Portuguese, canalha. Canalha. That means, in European Portuguese, a group of kids. Now, in Brazilian Portuguese, that means scumbag. So, do not call anyone canalha, not a boy, not a guy. So, a scumbag, a guy who's a scumbag, you call him canalha, or sometimes a guy who cheats on his wife a lot, or just, owes everybody money and doesn't pay for his debts and stuff like that. That's a canalha. Scams everyone out of something. Now, if you want to refer to a group of kids in Brazil, you're going to use the word, or the words basically, grupo de crianças, right? Because that's group of kids. Grupo de crianças. Criança, one kid. Crianças, kids or children. Or you can also say criançada. When you say there's a criançada over there, that means there's a lot of kids right there, like a group of kids there. Next one, European Portuguese, rapariga, that means a young girl. If you're in Portugal, fine for you to refer to a young girl as a rapariga. Now, in Brazil, do not say that to a girl or a woman because you're going to be calling them slut. So that might not be good for you. Now, if you want to refer to a young girl in Brazil, you're going to use the word menina ou garota. Menina, garota. All right? Next one, pica. In European Portuguese, or Portuguese from Portugal, that means a shot, an injection, right? That you take, like a vaccine or something. In Brazil, pica means a man's private part. So don't use that. There are a few slangs that people use that doesn't mean really that, but until you learn exactly when to use it, then do not say that word. Now, if you want to refer to a shot in Brazil, an injection, so to speak, you're going to use the word injeção. Injeção. Now, next one, and our last one, is punheta. That's very important for you to understand that in Portuguese from Portugal, that means a portion of something, a small amount of something. Now, in Brazil, that means man's masturbation. So do not say that word in front of kids, in front of anyone, unless you know exactly what you want to say. Now, if you want to say a portion of something, a small amount of something in Brazil, you just use a word porção, which is similar to portion. Porção. Again, it's not porção, it's porção. Right? Now, last one, I forgot about this one. Durex. In European Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese, not Brazilian Portuguese, I mean Portuguese from Portugal, durex means condom. Now, in Brazil, adhesive tape, that's what it means. If you want to say condom in Brazil, in Brazilian Portuguese, you use the word preservativo. That's a formal way to say it. That's how you're going to read in the news or something, and how you're going to ask if you ever go into a drugstore or supermarket and you want to know where you can find that. You use the word preservativo. Preservativo. Now, informal, you use the word camisinha. Camisinha. All right, that would be basically the meaning of a small t-shirt, small t, right? So you use the word camisinha. Okay, my friends, those are the words, European Portuguese words that you should avoid using in Brazil unless you really know what you're doing, because otherwise you might be offending some people out there. So be careful with that, pay attention to those words, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next class. Bye-bye.